take me back and tell me how you've done this, Larry? You're the godfather of technology. You founded this company. You're still thriving. You're still coming up with all these innovation things. And I could see how passionate you are. You're beating everybody. And you came from such humble beginnings, grew up on the south side of Chicago, dropped out of college. Now you have collections of cars, jets, private homes, owning the island of Lanai. Tell me how you did it.
Well, I think my favorite line is, I had all the disadvantages necessary for success.
Oracle is one of the largest tech companies in the world, and we have all used it, whether or not we know it.
Or like it.
Right, exactly. It touches all of our lives, and then it also is working with most other tech companies. So it's one of those behemoths. It's not just big tech, it's giant tech, right? Its customers include the CIA, the Navy, the big banks, and corporations from AT&T to Dow Chemical, everyone in between. Every now and then we're going to be doing a deep dive into like either a tech billionaire or a tech company or something like that. And this week we wanted to tell you the story about Larry Ellison and his company, Oracle. People don't really know about Larry Ellison and Oracle, and that's probably because the product is not really direct to consumer. Like you and I don't have deals with Oracle, right? Mm-hmm. It's the companies that we all use to surf the internet or to buy things, whatever, that have deals with Oracle.
It's a sleeper cell.
A little bit. Like, I mean, you may have heard the name Larry Ellison when you look up the 5 richest men on earth, but like you don't know him like you know Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's not so much in the limelight. But he's a huge Republican donor, as I understand it.
Huge Republican donor, huge supporter of like the Israeli occupation, huge supporter of Israel.
Not for religious reasons.
Right. He says it's because he's really excited about Israel's tech sector.
He's just like, I love what these guys are doing.
Yeah. I didn't even know they were Jewish. But he's actually a Jew. I mean, he's just like me. He's a New York Jew. He was born in New York City, and he dropped out of college just like me.
Oh, my God. Are you the next Larry Ellison?
I have been called that before. And the name is pretty apt, right? Because if you think of an oracle, you think of someone that has hidden knowledge that can tell you the truth, you know, knowledge the common person doesn't have. Oracles is like a giant database of all other databases, right? And it kind of epitomizes the U.S. national security state and the privatization of that infrastructure, of all that surveillance, right? Because Oracle technically is a private company, but as we'll see, it has a lot of relationships with the federal government.
A method of sorting information that was vastly superior to anything that had come before. It was called a relational database. According to Gary Bloom, who worked with Ellison for 14 years, it was a complex name, but a simple idea.
Relational database, what is it? It's a collection of data and information that's very simply put into a format that makes it very easy to search and find that information. It's nothing more complicated than that.
Here's how Larry Ellison, the founder and CEO, describes it. He says Oracle is, quote, used to keep track of basically everything. If the data is housed somewhere, Oracle knows about it. And he says, quote, the information about your banks, your checking balance, your savings balance is stored in an Oracle database. Your airline reservation is stored in an Oracle database. What books you bought on Amazon is stored in an Oracle database. Your profile on Yahoo is stored in an Oracle database. So clearly
Oracle
he said
won't know if I read the books or not.
Right, but well, they might if they also have access to if
your
you have,
Goodreads.
Like, yeah, or if you have or if you're reading it as a PDF online, it will know.
God damn it.
So clearly he said that quote in the early 2000s because he referenced Yahoo profiles, but the point still stands. It's probably even more true now than it was then. Okay, let's listen to this. This is him on Charlie Rose way back.
Your corporation keeping track of your inventory or your payroll, it's probably managed by an Oracle database. If you're a studio keeping track of your movie titles and movie clips and news stories, it's probably managed by an Oracle database. So we just keep track of all sorts of information from inventory to entertainment.
Let's take it back a little bit, talk about the origin of it. Larry Ellison founded the company in 1977, remember that year, in 1977 with Bob Miner and Ed Oates under the name Software Development Laboratories.
Bob and Larry were a perfect odd couple for Silicon Valley. Bob had all of the engineering smarts, the technical ability. Larry, on the other hand, had the sales ability, the visionary ability, the ability to go to a customer and explain, here's how your business can change.
Then they changed their name a couple times. They changed it to Relational Software in 1979, to Oracle Systems Corporation in 1983, and then finally to Oracle Corporation in 1995, which was the year I was born.
Oh, wow. Brag.
So as we know, like the 90s, we're having the dot-com boom, right? So computers are becoming more and more popular in businesses, and most companies start to need some sort of database to function, and Oracle was there. In the 90s, Oracle gets this reputation of having the best software in the market, by far better than any competitors. That's in 1992 when their version 7 was released. Also, fun fact, they named the first version of their software Oracle version 2 because they thought people would be more likely to trust it.
Oh, yeah. It is the beta, we swear.
Yeah, we did it. We did all the research.
This is the beta of launch of our tech podcast.
Yeah, true. This is CargoCult version
2.0.
Right now, the 10 largest internet sites in the world all use Oracle. 65 of the Fortune 100 use Oracle for e-business. Other people advertise e-business a lot on TV, but overwhelmingly, e-business is done on Oracle. We have a huge lead in supplying technology for internet sites. Why? Because we do big better.
We do big better.
Over the years, they get even bigger and even better. In the 2000s, Oracle, over the course of that decade, buys over 50 other companies. The most recent one of those acquisitions was Sun Microsystems, which was valued at $7 billion. They bought that in 2010. And that kind of transforms Oracle from just a software maker to also a maker of hardware. And it's actually interesting because at first the European Commission was like,
we don't like you doing too much stuff.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know if you can buy
stuff.
You're doing a little too much stuff. Like, we don't know if we want to let you buy Sun Microsystems, but we know from WikiLeaks cables that the U.S. pressured the EU to approve the acquisition, which it did.
Well, it took a while, but Oracle and Sun are now one company. We're very proud of that. We're very excited. Sun has a wonderful heritage of engineering and innovation and all of this fantastic technology, that huge patent portfolio.
So that's 2010. A couple customers of note, because like I said, they have a huge customer book, but probably the most interesting one, at least to listeners of this podcast, is the CIA. Remember how I said the company was founded in 1977? Mm-hmm. So very coincidentally, there was also a CIA project code name named Oracle in 1977. Oh. It's very interesting. And the CIA was actually Oracle's first customer.
In the 1970s, information storage meant putting data on reel-to-reel tape, which was just too slow and inconsistent for the CIA. And too slow for Ellison.
CIA needed a relational database, like most large organizations, and so Oracle was created to do just that.
We have all the ways we could kill Hugo Chavez stored right here.
We need it in a database, exactly. But on a serious note, like, you want to know what he's doing, you want to know who's around him, you want to know connections he has to other groups, you want to know who his enemies are domestically. If any organization needs a fucking database, it's going to be an intelligence agency, right? This is widely reported, like the fact that Oracle started as a CIA project and, the CIA was its first customer. Gizmodo, mainstream media, says its founder would not have made his billions without helping to build the tools of our modern surveillance state. Business Insider, which actually I think is called Insider now, said Larry Ellison is a billionaire thanks to the CIA.
So another guy, another rich guy who's like kind of the beneficiary of government money, like Elon Musk. Right. A lot of these guys get a little chunk of change from
the intel community. Yeah. That relationship obviously continues. Like, if you look at the current company leadership, there's some ex-CIA people there, like Leon Panetta, David Carney, and then the revolving door also goes in the other direction. So you have people from Oracle going to the CIA. And so obviously, like, when you hear that, let's say CargoCult becomes a big company and we need Oracle software or whatever to make its database, we're basically giving our information to the CIA, whether you like it or not. I mean, like, it's not surprising, but it just how it is.
Anything you type up, the CIA knows about it.
Right, and they I'm sure work with Apple, they work with Gmail, they work with
if you're going to premeditate murder, keep it inside your brain.
Right, or write it on a Post-it note away from any phones or laptops that may have a camera.
Yeah, Post-its will help you organize. I want a storyboard of murder.
Yeah, storyboard like on a whiteboard, but just, again, make sure there's no phones nearby because the camera might capture it. And definitely make sure you're not wearing Apple's Reality Pro headset because it has a 360 camera.
Of this murder, we have actually 3 live feeds.
Yeah. Oracle also works with the Pentagon. This is not hard-hitting reporting. Like, these are very public partnerships. The Oracle website says that Oracle Cloud is advancing the Department of Defense mission success by delivering real-time intel to warfighters and securing command at the tactical edge. And so that lovely marketing language means that all that data is being housed in Oracle servers. Oracle houses DoD data just like it houses most companies' data. Oracle also, in December 2020, announced that the CDC would be using Oracle's National Health Records Cloud and Oracle's Public Health Management Application Suite. Quote, the Oracle Public Health Management Application Suite includes applications for managing the entire vaccination process, from ordering the vaccine, tracking shipments, and managing inventory, to directly communicating with vaccinated patients via smartphones to collect safety data, such as side effects and adverse events. The Oracle National EHR Cloud will serve as the CDC's central data repository for all vaccination data in the U.S. This national clearinghouse system will receive data from all U.S. jurisdictions administering vaccination. So all these huge organizations use their software. Oracle, like most huge behemoths of tech companies in the U.S., have a relationship with Israel, but this one is special.
Yeah,
The companies,
they love what they're doing.
They said, we love your work. The company's Israeli-American CEO even once said, quote, this is a free world and I love all my employees, but if they don't agree with our mission to support the state of Israel, then maybe we aren't the right company for them.
Oh, damn.
So the company is explicitly pro-Israel, whereas like most big corporations, like the leadership is, but it's not like a part of the mission statement, right?
Yeah, but they're like, here's a little Israeli flag in the mission statement.
They're in Israel. I mean, Israel is really tech forward, which makes sense because it's such a small country. So like it makes sense for them to be.
Yeah, they've got to create something, like hacking technologies like Pegasus.
Right.
That will hack into
that improve people's lives. Oh, no, sorry. Okay.
Hack into journalists' phones like Khashoggi's phone, which they sell to the Saudi Arabian kingdom or to Mexican authorities, some journalists that ended up dead after they had their phones hacked by the Israeli company Pegasus.
Which was a coincidence.
A total coincidence.
Now we get to Oracle and the Saudis.
Yeah, MBS's planned city, planned smart city.
Giga City, which is going to have all this crazy stuff going on. Actually, let me...
we might need to do a NEOM update.
I would love to.
NEOM.
But this is like a quick overview.
This is NEOM, or here to be more precise, in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. It's the vision for a new future. In fact, that's how it got its name. But what will be there? Well, there's Oxagon, a thriving industrial city at the crossroads of the world. Trojena, a year-round mountain destination. Sindala, one of NEOM's many beautiful islands. And the Line, a 500-meter-high, 200-meter-wide, 170-kilometer-long city in the shape of, a line. Every destination in NEOM will offer unparalleled access to nature and will be powered by clean energy. NEOM represents a global opportunity for 1, changing how the world does business. 2, changing the way we live our lives. And 3, changing how we look after nature and our planet. It will comprise 14 sectors, each designed to advance technology and push the very limits of human knowledge. Imagine NEOM as a prototype for a better future.
All right. Go listen to our earlier episodes about the Line.
Did they show a bird slapping against
and dying
the line?
No, and they didn't show they also didn't show the swimming lanes. In July 2022, Oracle announced that NEOM Tech and Digital will be partnering with the company to create its cognitive city. So all that stuff that we talked about in those earlier episodes, all that technology that's going to be powering NEOM,
Oracle wants in.
Oracle not only wants in, but is going to be the reason it happens, right? Because you need the software on the back end.
Of course.
So Oracle is going to provide NEOM with cloud services and its full suite of applications to power the cognitive cities that we talked about. When you hear about all this stuff that Oracle's doing, which is basically housing and analyzing all the data in all areas of our lives. Obviously, the question of privacy comes to mind. And there have been a few like privacy related stories over the years about Oracle, but the most recent one was this past year in August when the company was hit with a class action lawsuit alleging that the company operates a, quote, worldwide surveillance machine and earns billions by illegally selling the data.
Uh-huh.
So
what are you, a Chinese company,
yeah,
Oracle?
well, funny you say that because hold that thought.
Holding.
So here's what the litigants say. Oracle collects vast amounts of data from unwitting internet users like you and me without their consent and uses this surveillance intelligence to profile individuals, further enriching profiles via its data marketplace and threatening people's privacy on a vast scale, including, they say, by the use of proxies for sensitive data to circumvent privacy controls. So the litigants are basically saying that Oracle is illegally gathering and selling personal information of people who use the internet, which is all people basically, and Oracle is violating privacy and federal wiretap laws, specifically the Federal Electronic Communications Privacy Act, California State Constitution, the California Invasion of Privacy Act, competition law, and California common law. The reason that the lawsuit looks like this is because basically there's no all-encompassing federal like privacy law in the US. So in order to make this privacy case, they have to reference all these different federal and constitutional laws, state laws, common law, right? Because there's no comprehensive federal privacy law in the US yet.
Yeah.
That's what we're fighting for here at CargoCult.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a recent story about like Facebook not taking or monetizing the information of the youth. They're fighting to be able to sell that data. So FTC, Federal Trade Commission, is proposing a rule that will protect kids and teens from having their data monetized. And Facebook is like, no, we've got to sell them all this glitter and like slime, and we have so many
like
things.
how are you not going to let
warehouse.
us profit off your kids' data? That's literally the whole point. Interesting. Facebook is misusing the data it gathers on underage users and wants to update federal privacy policy to ban Meta from profiting on information harvested from children and teens under 18. I mean, that sounds good, but I wonder why only children and teens under 18. I mean, obviously they should be more protected, but still. Wouldn't it be nice if that was just the entire business model was not to profit from information harvested from people?
Yeah, it's just like, how are you going to stop this thing that's already like this blob that overtook all of our data? Like, it's impossible at this point.
Right.
Like, we've just had no meaningful legislation for so long that everybody's like, my privacy is being invaded. There's this class action lawsuit, but it's like, there were no meaningful laws passed.
Right.
And when they're like, oh, TikTok is taking our data, China is taking our data, it's like, well...
Yeah, well, why are they allowed to do that? Right.
It's too late.
Yeah, so in our first episode, we talked about TikTok, and we talked about how there was a lot of talk about, like, TikTok shouldn't be allowed to operate in the U.S. because your data is going to China, right? For the past few years, there's been talk about whether or not TikTok was going to be banned in the US. And basically the result of all of that talk was for Oracle and TikTok to create this partnership to basically ease that concern. So in 2022 of June, and this is kind of the reason why I thought we should talk about Oracle, since we did already talk about TikTok and Neom. In June of 2022, TikTok announced that it would start routing American users' data to Oracle servers.
Yeah,
and this was
Oracle is the DoD buddy, like
right. This Oracle is the CIA
right?
company, exactly. So now 100% of U.S. user traffic is being routed to the Oracle cloud infrastructure, according to the head of TikTok's U.S. security and public policy. So if you think about this in the context of all the fear-mongering about China taking your data, like this was the result. And if you think about it from the perspective of the CIA, because effectively if we're giving all the TikTok user data to Oracle, you're giving it to the CIA. That was a very successful campaign.
Oracle, a key partner for ByteDance, is going to try and ring-fence the data of US users so that only US entities, US companies, have access to it. It's a key demand of the US administration for keeping TikTok live here in the United States.
And so now you have some like Republican lawmakers who are like, wait, what about banning TikTok? And it's like, sorry, you guys were actually just kind of pawns for the intelligence community. Like, at least be consistent. If you want to be against, children having their data collected, then do it for all companies, not just TikTok. But anyway, so Oracle now has TikTok's data. Larry Ellison, I think he's the fourth richest man right now. Let's see what he is.
Yeah, I looked it up. He's
Fourth? Get it together.
I have not been keeping track of the richest man. I'm just trying to find rich local men.
Yeah,
rich men to support our Patreon.
Fluctuating. Okay, so let's get some theme music. Today's winners. Today's richest men. Today in first place, we have Bernard Arnault, the Louis Vuitton guy.
That's why you need to take a meeting with Kanye West, Bernard Arnault.
Number 2, we have Elon Musk. Last time I checked, he was number 1, so get it together. Number 3, Jeff Bezos. I'm old enough to remember when Jeff Bezos was at number 1 as well. How the mighty have fallen to only $128.7 billion in net worth.
Damn, that divorce did him dirty.
And then we got number 4, Larry Ellison, coming in at $121 billion in net worth. And listen, if you guys listen to this a week later and it's changed, don't come crying at me. It's not my fault that these people are making so many moves that these numbers change every day.
The stock market.
Bill Gates all the way at number 5. Remember when he was at number 2? Those were the days. Warren Buffett number 6. And then we get to people whose names I don't know. Oh, but Michael Bloomberg number 9. Interesting. People like this never show up in leaks or like when things come out. Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, these tech billionaires like Warren Buffett, Michael Bloomberg, you never hear about them in like the Panama Papers, right? It's never like the people actually at the top.
It's usually
I'm sure there's
like
more
foreign billionaires, like oligarchs.
Right, it's always foreign. Or it's like more like mid-tier. Yeah, anyway, Larry Ellison, 4th richest man on the earth, loves surveillance. In fact, in January 2002, after 9/11, the New York Times let him write an opinion piece where he argued that the U.S. should have one national security database with national ID cards and mandatory iris scans. So this is his whole thing, right? Databasing everything, housing it all in one place, not trying to have like disparate data management systems, all having it in one place. Coincidentally, that place being Oracle. So he said, quote, a national security database combined with biometrics, thumbprints, handprints, iris scans, or whatever is best can be used to detect people with false identities. That's what he said.
We'll have the shape of your asshole. Yeah, there's just like, 3 million people with security clearance who can access this one database who, it's not good for secrets when you're trying to impress the other guys on the Discord with your...
But it is good for control, because if you have all the information in one place, you can see a bird's eye view and, try to manipulate things to fit your agenda. Okay, so more on Larry Ellison as a guy. Now
I want to hear more about him, yeah.
You want to hear more?
Give me more.
Well, like you said, he's not religious, but like most American billionaires, is an Israeli occupation supporter. He said, quote, I certainly respect people who believe these are literally true, referring to like the stories in the Bible, but I don't. But that obviously doesn't stop him from giving tens of millions to the Friends of the IDF, also known as FIDF. He gave them their single largest donation that the FIDF ever received. And there's reports that he's close with Netanyahu. Like, who knows how much of that is actually true, but he definitely did fly Prime Minister Netanyahu out to his private Hawaiian island to offer him a seat on Oracle's board, according to Haaretz in 2021, which is an Israeli newspaper. Almost too rich to be bothered. Like, he has a yacht racing team. He owns an island in Hawaii, Lanai, or he owns 98% of it, rather.
I did see recently that he was pulled over on the island that he was speeding on the island that he owns.
Yeah, he blew a stop sign on the island that he basically owns.
Did he cry to get out of that ticket, or
we
did
can
he just
watch
say,
the
like,
video?
I fucking own
well
you?
No, like, he actually didn't throw his name around, and like, if you read like the bootlickers in the comments or like any reporting about it, it's like, oh my god, wow, like, respect, like, but it's like,
he paid
throwing your name around
ticket.
is for when you're in a mess that you need to get out of. Like, he's too rich for that to even, you know what I'm saying? It was so annoying to read the comments because everyone's like, wow, like, what a stand-up guy. And it's like, literally fourth richest man on earth. Obviously he's not gonna throw a fit and be like, do you know who I am? Like, he's too cool for all of that. He could pay 1,000 of those tickets.
What a cool guy got pulled over.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, wow, respect. And it's like, I don't think you get any points for not throwing your name around when you're the 4th richest man on earth.
Yeah, I didn't know you could own a piece of Hawaii. I thought it was...
Yeah. So this is the New York Post in 2022. Life on Larry Ellison's Hawaiian Islands is so expensive, only the super rich could afford it. Great.
Oh, I wanted to visit Larry.
Yeah, I wanted to get pulled over in a McLaren. Oh my god, shortly after buying the island, he built a Nobu, the high-end Japanese restaurant where dinner for two could easily exceed $1,000. His kids are in media. His son, David Ellison, founded Skydance Media. Megan Ellison founded Annapurna Pictures, both huge production companies. Skydance is Mission Impossible, Star Trek, Top Gun, Terminator, Transformers, Jack Ryan, True Grit, Gemini Man, World War Z, Baywatch. Damn. Annapurna, I mean, got that Ellison family money. Annapurna, Zero Dark 30, Her, Sausage Party, Vice, Booksmart, Hustlers, Killing Them Softly, The Master, American Hustles. I literally never seen any of these, but I know that they're big names. That's the Ellison family money in there. So it's just interesting how...
Yeah, a little Succession theme here.
Yeah, I guess.
Media, like one foot in media, too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to see any themes against the CIA in any of these movies.
Yeah, not the reason our dad made money.
Yeah. And of course, it's like, who knows how much of a say those kids actually have, but that's where the money's coming from.
Larry Ellison did invest in Elizabeth Holmes' Theranos project.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that.
That's all I got.
Oh, okay. Because I've heard about that, but I don't know what that is.
Murdoch. Oh, yeah. Theranos,
Mm-hmm.
it was like a startup that basically you could take a blood sample, like prick your finger at home, and you'd get a full analysis of diseases that you might have or be in danger of developing. And yeah, so Elizabeth Holmes is soon to go to prison for defrauding investors.
Oh yeah,
of those investors, you got Henry Kissinger, Larry Ellison, all the people you were happy got ripped off. The Clintons, they were in there too. Hilarious. Liz, get back out there.
It's so funny. I somehow managed to not learn about that story at all.
There's 3 documentaries you can watch.
I know. I refuse.
A lady boss fraud is oh my god, Hollywood just ate it up. We loved her.
Because she's a woman.
A blonde. Yeah, very interesting story. I recommend you watch.
Did you watch Inventing Anna? Because that was really disappointing.
I didn't, no.
It's the one about that other lady boss
I don't
fraud.
usually like dramatized versions of recent history. Really tragic thing happened to me, actually. It's been a painful last few weeks.
I feel like this is going to be a joke.
Damn it!
Sorry. Sorry. What happened?
I lost
play along.
my blue check on Twitter. What? It's gone. I thought years ago when I took a picture of my license and submitted it to Twitter,
you'd be golden for the rest of your life.
I thought it meant something, and I just lost it. Couldn't get it back. There were a couple of days where if you put former blue check in your bio, a blue check would show up. But
no fucking way.
Yeah, it was some weird code thing. But right now I need to get my revenge on Elon Musk since he took away my blue check. I'm going to be like the Ida Tarbell of Musk's companies. I know nobody's going to get this reference.
So I need that.
Nobody's going to get this reference, so I will explain it. Ida Tarbell, her father had an oil company that was a competitor against Standard Oil, the Rockefeller company, and she wrote a 3-volume takedown of Rockefeller and all his anti-competitive practices, and
so
she did it because I'm going to do that because he took away my blue check.
Podcast. Oh, Larry Ellison is not verified on Twitter. He's just like you.
Refuses to pay.
I'm going to throw him a follow. Why not?
So, after I experienced the night of long knives on Twitter, I got a little deeper into the Twitter implosion news, and there's kind of something funny happening with NPR. So, NPR got state-affiliated news, the state-affiliated news label, which, they are not, literally speaking, they're not state funded. So they were like, fuck you.
Well, they have a little public money, but they should really have ExxonMobil affiliated more than
state. Yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of corporate connections. There's a lot of government connections, but it's like BBC and RT have more in common than NPR and RT. So they decided in January that they were going to leave Twitter because it's a cesspool of hate and misinformation. And it's no longer a healthy place for us to be. And it was like, when was it a healthy place? Right. I don't know. And so they said they would boycott the site. A lot of news organizations are doing this. And then Musk was like, well, NPR, if you don't come back and use your 8 million follower account, I'm going to give the account to somebody else. He's like, what do you guys think about National Pumpkin Radio? Ha ha ha. Well, while people were paying attention to the NPR news, I think there was something that kind of slipped through the cracks, a little bit of under the radar news, which we love. A lot of sites that were automatically posting from their WordPress sites, a lot of automatic posting accounts said, fuck it, we cannot be on Twitter anymore. That means weather. That means train updates. So you can't get MTA updates on Twitter, which was
why? Because it's automated?
Because it's automated. And basically, Musk was like, okay, no more automated third-party apps. You now have to pay $42,000 a month to do that on Twitter. So Twitter is becoming less useful for those kind of things. I think it's still going to be a fun place for people who like to shit talk and argue and posture. So it's not going anywhere, but it is becoming less useful. Sad news. I really like the train updates.
Yeah, there's so many users on Twitter, though, that it'll come back. Like, you know how, like, Facebook was, quote-unquote, dying in popular culture? But, like, a lot of people still are on Facebook. Like, yeah, they're older. Yeah, they're maybe not from the city or whatever. But Facebook is fine and still kicking it, and now it's having a revival because of Facebook Reels. So like these companies are so big that they can kind of afford to have periods of quote unquote failure, you know, and still make money in the long run.
Some true crime. Are we a true crime podcast?
Yeah.
Bob Lee, the Cash App founder, was murdered in April.
No.
In the streets of San Francisco. He was stabbed 3 times.
Oh no.
And nobody
helped. Stabbing outside my house a couple weeks ago.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Was it targeted?
Was it targeted? Well, it was personal. It wasn't like crazy person. Like there was an altercation.
There was a dispute.
They knew each other, yeah. And actually my neighbor, you might have met him. He happened to be coming home as it was happening. He like was there after the guy got stabbed, and he was like holding his blood wound and like holding his and he died in his arms.
Oh no!
My neighbor who didn't know them at all, but
oh my god, that guy must be so traumatized.
Yeah, he is.
But nobody helped Bob Lee when he was walking through the street.
Love it.
Yeah, he was like knocking on doors and collapsing. He was like showing his wounds, and everybody's like,
crazy person. He's like, I'm a CEO.
He's like, I'm a CEO. And then of course, tech billionaires were like, we need to get San Francisco crime under control. There clearly was a crazy
he died?
homeless.
He was stabbed and he's dead?
He's dead.
Okay, all right.
He did.
What's it? Yeah.
Also, they found, little footnote, they found ketamine and cocaine in his system.
Okay.
But everybody was like, see, they blamed the San Francisco DA and the mayor. They were like, you guys need to get crime under control. The homeless people are now stabbing CEOs.
Was it a homeless person?
And it was obviously not. Like, what CEO is walking around by himself, like getting stabbed under a bridge at 2 a.m.
Targeted?
So it was
Andrew Cortina. It was the CEO of Venmo.
yeah, that would be. It was like
it's Peter Thiel.
Yeah. And so the suspect, who's now allegedly charged with murder, I don't know where we need to put allegedly, but I'm just going to put allegedly in front of the whole segment.
Yeah.
To make
he was allegedly the murderer.
He was allegedly the murderer.
Yeah.
This guy's name is Nima Momeni,
it's
Iranian guy.
Oh. Okay.
Why no is it now?
Nima Momeni.
Nima Mumini. And what happened was, it sounds like Bob Lee was like flirting with his sister.
Oh, with flirting
and
with
his
Nima Mo's
sister is like
on the
super
street?
hot. No, they were like hanging out
Okay.
in his apartment or her apartment, and apparently Nima was like, "Hey, did you give my sister drugs? Are you hitting on my sister?" That kind of thing. And his sister is married to one of the most famous plastic surgeons in San Francisco. We don't know the whole story. All we do know is that it was not a homeless person.
Right.
It was not a crazed homeless person.
Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Square, which is now called Block, heartbreaking, he said. Bob was instrumental to Square and Cash App. So all these tech CEOs are RIPing. I love how Jack Dorsey's like, oh, this is heartbreaking. You know, he was instrumental. He was a good guy. And Elon Musk's like, violent crime is horrific. Something needs to be done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it was just a dude he knew.
Yeah, it was a domestic dispute, I guess you could file that under.
Yeah, the old hot sister file.
Hot Persian sister file.
Yeah. And that's it for the news. Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Cargo Cult. I'm Nima Garavani.
And I'm Michelle Greenstein. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
You're the godfather of technology. You're beating everybody. Now you have collections of cars, jets, private homes owning the island of Lanai. Tell me how you did it.
Well, I think my favorite line is, I had all the disadvantages necessary for success.